Imagine waking up one morning, opening your fridge, and realizing there's hardly any food that truly nourishes your body. You grab a quick snack, perhaps a slice of bread with peanut butter, and convince yourself it's enough for the day. But as the hours pass, you begin to feel weaker. Your energy dips, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a small voice whispers, "Is this really enough to keep me going?" This was exactly what happened to Claire, who at 68 found herself too tired to go for her evening walk, too drained to enjoy a visit from her grandchildren, and too overwhelmed to cook a proper meal. She never imagined that failing to plan her meals could gradually chip away at her independence. Yet there she was, struggling to keep up with a simple daily routine. Doctors warn that this scenario is far more common than most seniors realize, and the consequences can sneak up quietly until one day, you can't easily do the things you once took for granted. The truth is, when you're over 65, every bite matters more than ever. There's a delicate balance your body needs: consistent nourishment, the right nutrients, and enough protein and calories to maintain strength. Most people assume, "I'll just eat when I'm hungry," or "I'll grab whatever's easy," but this mindset can set off a cascade of health issues. Muscle loss, fatigue, and a higher risk of falls are just the beginning. What if, in 10 years, you find it challenging to stand up from the sofa or take a short walk outside without holding onto the walls for support? That might sound dramatic, but real independence hinges on small decisions made day after day, particularly around what you eat. If you don't address this, you risk missing out on travels you've longed for, community gatherings you enjoy, or even the simple pleasure of confidently moving around your home. Today, we're going to explore 6 key points that can help you avoid this path. Think of each point as a crucial puzzle piece that, when put together, gives you a complete picture of how to plan your meals and maintain the active, fulfilling life you deserve. Stick around until the very end, because the final insight could transform the way you think about food entirely. Something doctors are now urging seniors to pay attention to in order to protect their independence. You might be wondering why you should trust this advice. It's not just my personal opinion. Specialists in geriatric health, nutrition experts, and senior-focused studies all highlight the dangers of poor meal planning at this stage of life. The strategies here are grounded in what practitioners have observed for decades in older adults who remain independent well into their 80s and 90s. If you've spent any time researching senior health, you'll know there's a mountain of conflicting information out there, and it can be overwhelming. But rest assured, this material has been put together with careful attention to what truly works in real lives. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, I recommend subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss any videos that address crucial topics for staying strong and self-reliant in your golden years. And if you find these insights valuable at any point, go ahead and type 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and engaged. If not, type 0, and that feedback will help me shape future content to better serve you. Let's begin by looking at one of the biggest misconceptions many seniors have about meal planning and how it can quietly sabotage your health. Sometimes people say, planning meals makes eating feel like a chore, but the real chore and the real danger is trying to regain the independence you lose when malnutrition or weakness creeps up unnoticed. Let's examine this first crucial point in detail. Our first focus is challenging the idea that simply eating enough is the same as eating well. The common misconception is that as long as your stomach is full, you've done your job. Unfortunately, that misconception has led countless seniors down a path of subtle but alarming nutrient deficiencies. Take George, who's 73. For most of his life, he believed that as long as he was satiated, whether he ate sandwiches, canned soup, or leftover pizza, he was getting what he needed. But slowly, George noticed his legs felt heavier, and climbing the stairs to his bedroom became a daily battle. A routine checkup revealed he was severely lacking in protein, vitamins, and essential minerals. The unexpected truth is that reaching for whatever is closest or cheapest may fill you up, but it often leaves your body hungry for the nutrients required to maintain muscle and organ function. One surprising insight many overlook is that your metabolism might have slowed, yet your body's need for high-quality proteins, vitamins, and minerals remains just as great, sometimes greater than when you were younger. It's like fueling a car with the wrong kind of gasoline. Yes, the car might still run, but it won't run efficiently and it will break down sooner. The same goes for your body, except the stakes are much higher. Your car can be replaced, your body cannot. So how do you apply this practically? Start by making a simple meal planning chart for the week. Instead of randomly deciding on meals, choose at least one protein-rich food for each main dish, like fish, beans, or lean meat, and pair it with colorful vegetables. Even if it's just a small amount of planning, having a structure ensures your body gets the quality nourishment it needs consistently. Doing so prevents that hidden, slow progression toward weakness. And when you see yourself climbing stairs without pause or confidently heading out for an afternoon walk, you'll feel the emotional payoff of self-reliance. Remember, convenience foods might seem easier in the short term, but the long-term cost can be devastating to your independence. Stay with me, because we're going deeper into this in the next points, especially in ways you might have never considered. Let's keep moving. Our next topic addresses a dangerous assumption that can creep into a senior's life. It's too late to make changes now. This statement is more than just self-defeating. It can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe it's too late, you're unlikely to look for new solutions to maintain your health and independence. But the common misconception here is that past 65, your dietary habits are set in stone, and there's no point in trying to improve them. Consider Eleanor, 79, who once thought the same way. She was diagnosed with early signs of osteoporosis and told to pay attention to her calcium and vitamin D intake. Initially, Eleanor shrugged her shoulders, thinking, "At my age, what difference will it make?" But the wake-up call came when she slipped on a wet kitchen floor, fracturing her wrist. In her recovery process, doctors insisted she get serious about her daily meals, especially concerning bone health. The surprising truth? Within just a few months of adjusting her diet, incorporating more dairy, leafy greens, and a supplement or two, her bone density test showed improvement. It wasn't a complete reversal, but it was enough to prove that positive changes can happen at any age. The counterintuitive insight is that your body, while older, still responds to the right nutrients and consistent care. You're never too far gone to benefit from better meal planning. In fact, small dietary changes in your late 60s or 70s can have an outsized impact on your overall strength and vitality. Think of your body like a garden. Even if it hasn't been tended to in a while, the right seeds, water, and sunlight can still bring it back to life. So what's the actionable step here? Begin by swapping out just one unhealthy snack or meal each day. If you've been reaching for chips or sugary sweets, replace them with yogurt, a handful of almonds, or a bowl of fruit. Gradually add more nutrient-rich items to your plate. This shift doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start with small, consistent steps, and you'll see meaningful improvements over time. When you realize you're never too old to improve, you'll experience a powerful emotional benefit: renewed hope. You might actually look forward to each new day, eager to see how much better you'll feel and how much stronger you'll become. And that emotional lift can be just as important as the physical gains. But if you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, type 2 in the comments so I know you're engaged. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so, because having a supportive community around you can make a huge difference in staying motivated. Up next, we're diving into an often overlooked aspect of senior nutrition: the social component of eating and how isolation can sabotage even the best dietary intentions. Let's talk about the hidden trap of eating alone or in a rush. A bold statement to consider is that loneliness at mealtime can be just as harmful as an unhealthy diet. People often assume it's only the food on the plate that matters, overlooking the emotional context in which meals are consumed. Research points to a link between social isolation and poor nutrition. Why? Because when you're eating by yourself day after day, you might lose the motivation to prepare balanced meals, often resorting to quick, less nutritious options just to fill the void in your stomach, and sometimes in your heart. Take Frank, 74, who found himself widowed and living alone. Before his wife passed away, they cooked together and always sat down for their meals. After her passing, Frank started skipping breakfast, grabbing a quick sandwich for lunch, and microwaving a frozen dinner in front of the TV. At first, it was just an emotional coping mechanism, but over time, he noticed weight loss, fatigue, and a sense of not really looking forward to anything, even mealtime. The surprising insight was that once Frank started inviting a neighbor to share dinner twice a week, or occasionally visiting his local senior center for group lunches, his outlook and eating habits improved dramatically. Simply having someone to talk to while eating made him more deliberate about preparing nutritious meals. Here's a counterintuitive truth. Cooking for others, even just once a week, can jumpstart healthier habits. You become more mindful of ingredients, more interested in trying new recipes, and more attentive to nutritional balance. Moreover, sharing meals fosters connection, which can help combat the emotional struggles that often lead to neglecting your dietary needs. If you're in a position where sharing meals regularly isn't easy, there are still practical steps you can take. Schedule at least one communal meal a week. This could be with family, friends, or a local community group. If in-person gatherings aren't feasible, consider a virtual meal over a video call with loved ones. You might be amazed at how much more enthusiastic you feel about cooking a complete meal when you know you'll be talking to someone who cares about you. The emotional benefit is twofold. You not only improve your physical health by ensuring you eat better, but you also nurture your emotional health by reducing feelings of isolation. Loneliness can be crippling, but it doesn't have to sabotage your nutrition. Stay with me because we have 3 more crucial points to explore, each one building on the last to help keep you independent for years to come. Now let's look at a common pitfall that can derail the best meal planning intentions: portion distortion. Many seniors grew up with parents who told them to clean your plate because waste was not acceptable in tight economic times. The misconception is that a full plate, or even a second helping, automatically means you're getting plenty of nutrients. But here's the reality. Large portion sizes often translate to calorie overload from the wrong foods, while still missing essential vitamins and minerals. Consider Harriet, 76, who prided herself on hearty breakfasts of pancakes, bacon, and a generous serving of scrambled eggs. It sounds delicious and filling, right? But over time, Harriet gained excess weight, which placed extra strain on her knees. This made walking painful, and she became less active. A doctor pointed out that despite her caloric intake, she wasn't getting enough fiber, antioxidants, or lean protein. Essentially, her large meals were high in calories but low in nutritional quality. The unexpected twist? When Harriet began focusing on smaller, balanced portions, like a couple of pancakes with fruit, a bit of lean protein, and a side of vegetables later in the day, she not only lost weight but experienced less joint pain. Her energy improved, and she was able to return to her morning walks around the neighborhood. Here's the counterintuitive truth about portion sizes. Sometimes eating less overall, but more strategically, can vastly improve your nutrition. Think of it like packing for a trip. You could stuff your suitcase with random items you don't need, leaving no room for the essentials. Or you could choose carefully, ensuring you have exactly what's necessary. Your body appreciates quality more than quantity, especially as you age. So how can you put this into action? Try using smaller plates and bowls to automatically guide your portion sizes. Aim for a mix of lean protein, whole grains, and colorful produce on every plate. And don't forget about healthy fats like avocados or olive oil. Another practical tip is to eat slowly and give your body time to register that you're satisfied. This helps prevent overeating out of habit. By consciously managing portions, you free yourself from the sluggishness that comes with unbalanced meals, and you'll likely find that you feel lighter and more active throughout the day. The emotional reward is confidence. The confidence that you are truly fueling your body rather than stuffing it. It's a small but meaningful shift in perspective that can lead to big health gains. If you're still with me and finding this content worthwhile, type 4 in the comments so I know you've made it this far. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. Let's push forward. Next, let's address the issue of convenience foods and how misleading they can be when you're trying to stay healthy. There's a pervasive idea that fast equals bad, but the real misconception is more nuanced. Many quick meal options marketed as healthy or diet can be loaded with hidden sugars, excess sodium, and artificial additives. These might temporarily fill a gap in your day, But in the long term, they can contribute to conditions like high blood pressure or elevated blood sugar levels, both of which can sap your independence by increasing your risk of serious complications. Look at Walter 70, who found himself drawn to the promise of convenience. He stocked up on frozen diet meals thinking they'd be better than fast food burgers. At first he felt proud of his decision, but after a year, routine blood tests showed creeping blood pressure levels and borderline diabetic markers. Shocked, Walter read the labels more carefully and discovered the meals he'd been relying on contained high sodium levels and hidden sugars designed to improve taste without adding fat. The surprising insight is that sometimes the healthier convenience choices can be just as problematic as junk food. Here's the key takeaway. Not all convenience foods are created equal. Some are fine in moderation, like canned beans, frozen vegetables, or certain microwavable whole grain options, but you must scrutinize nutrition labels. The best meal plan is the one you can stick to in the long run. So if you rely on convenience items, choose carefully. The counterintuitive truth is that adding 1 or 2 homemade elements to a convenience meal, like fresh steamed vegetables or a homemade sauce, can significantly improve its nutritional profile. If you're not up for cooking every night, consider batch cooking once a week. Make a big pot of soup or stew loaded with vegetables and lean meat. Freeze it in individual servings, so on busy or low-energy days, you can reheat a portion without resorting to high-sodium, highly processed meals. This small shift in planning ensures your meals are balanced, saving you from an overload of hidden additives. The emotional benefit of choosing your convenience foods wisely is peace of mind. You'll rest easier knowing you're nourishing your body in a way that supports rather than undermines your health goals. That sense of control over your diet translates into a sense of control over your life, something that becomes especially precious as you age. We have one more essential point to tackle, and it might just be the one that ties everything together. Finally, let's look at one overlooked factor that often stands between seniors and a well-planned diet: budget worries. The misconception here is that eating healthy is automatically expensive. Many older adults living on fixed incomes or retirement savings assume they can't afford fresh produce or lean meats on a regular basis. But what if I told you that with a bit of savvy planning, you can both eat well and save money? Consider Sylvia, 67, who lives primarily off Social Security. She worried that a healthy diet meant organic everything and premium cuts of meat. But then she learned a surprising truth. Buying produce in season, shopping at local farmers markets, and looking for sales or store brands helped her stretch her dollars further than she thought possible. Additionally, Sylvia started buying certain items in bulk, like whole grains and dried beans, then preparing them in batches. Not only did she slash her food bill, but she also found she was eating tastier, fresher meals. The reality is that an unplanned approach to food can lead to wasteful spending. When you don't have a meal plan, you may buy items you never end up using or reach for takeout in a pinch. Both scenarios drain your wallet. By taking a little time to outline your meals for the week, checking what's already in your pantry, and shopping sales for staples, you can actually lower your food costs while simultaneously raising the quality of what lands on your plate. The emotional payoff for smart budgeting is immense. The relief of knowing you don't have to choose between your financial stability and your health. You'll feel empowered, not restricted, which makes it easier to stay consistent with your meal planning. If you're still watching and you've made it to the end of these key points, type 6 in the comments. Your engagement means a lot, and it helps us continue sharing valuable insights for maintaining independence. Let's pause to reflect on everything we've covered today. A well-planned diet after 65 might be the single most powerful tool you have for staying active, preventing injuries, and retaining the freedom to enjoy daily life. We explored the common myths, that fullness equals proper nourishment, that it's too late to change, that eating alone doesn't matter, that larger portions are always better, that convenience foods are harmless, and that healthy eating is too costly. In every case, the truth paints a different picture, one where small, deliberate choices in your meal planning can radically transform both your physical health and emotional well-being. Now that you've been given the facts, there's a sense of urgency that shouldn't be ignored. Muscle decline, vitamin deficiencies, and the slow creep of chronic conditions don't wait around. The longer you put off a healthy meal plan, the harder it might become to regain your footing, both literally and figuratively. Imagine waking up a year from now feeling stronger than you do today, more energetic, and more in control of your daily activities, simply because you decided to prioritize your meals and properly fuel your body. That vision is entirely possible, but it starts with taking the first steps immediately. Think about how these 6 points apply to your own life. Maybe you identified most with the loneliness factor at mealtime, or perhaps you were surprised to learn how hidden sugars and convenience foods can accelerate health issues. Consider which point struck a chord with you personally. What's one small change you can make today? Picture yourself loading your grocery cart with nutrient-dense items, or inviting a friend to share a meal, or swapping your second helping for a balanced plate that truly nourishes. See yourself in your kitchen, taking a few minutes to plan the next day's meals and feeling that reassuring sense of control over your health. This isn't a distant fantasy. It's a simple reality that comes from acting on the insights you've just gained. I'd love to hear what resonated most with you. Leave a comment below, sharing one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone else who might benefit. Your support not only helps the community grow, but also encourages me to keep producing content that tackles the real challenges facing seniors. Whether you're new to meal planning or have been trying for a while, remember that every effort counts. Informed choices about food can make the difference between a life spent on the sidelines and one spent fully engaged in activities you love. You have the power to make those choices right now. It's never too late to start. By valuing your health and planning your meals, you're investing in yourself. And that investment pays dividends in independence, confidence, and quality of life. Thank you for spending time here and for caring about your well-being. Keep moving forward, stay curious, and trust that with each nourishing meal you prepare, you're taking one more step toward a brighter, more independent future. I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.